Y2K Collector, coming at you live on a Friday night out here in hot Southern California. I don't know what it's like on the East Coast right now. I know that the East Coast warmed up a bit over the past week, but I think when I spoke to someone back east today, they were telling me how the temperatures have actually gone back down. So I don't know how bad it is out there, but I do know that it is pretty darn warm here in California. In fact, I think next week we're going to be hitting 100 degrees. So that is not going to be fun, but it comes with the territory. But tonight, I need your guys' help. I need your help. Um, so if you didn't catch my video earlier that I dropped, pretty much I was able to get another copy of Batman Return of the Joker. Obviously, as you can see, this copy is not nearly as nice as the first copy that I had. This label, it looks like this label came off and then someone tried to like super glue it back on, but they didn't align it properly. And so now the label is just kind of been haphazardly slapped onto the cart. So I want to save this. I want to save this game cosmetically because I think it can be saved. The cart itself is really beat up though. I opened this up to check the motherboard and some of the little, I guess, nodules that help to keep the motherboard in place are completely broken off. So you can kind of hear it. You can hear that rattling. That's pieces of the little plastic moldings that help to keep the motherboard in place. So pieces of the card are actually completely broken. So a big part of me kind of wishes I still had that other Batman's, because then I would have just done a swap with the motherboards. That would have been ideal. But unfortunately, I don't have that one anymore. So this is it. Grailbound, what's going on, man? Hey, man, thank you for watching that video. I appreciate it. I need your guys' help tonight. I need your help. I'm trying to save this NES cart, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to get this label off without damaging it. Now, it was already kind of coming off, as you can see, so I gently attempted to see if I could lift this label off, like just gently. I tried to, but I felt like some serious resistance, so I didn't want to risk ripping the label. So then I tried it from this side. I tried it from the top, and it felt like I was getting some headway, but then again, I started to feel some resistance, and I didn't want to rip or tear the label and have like the tear come through on this side. But if you look, whoever tried to reapply this just did a really bad job. Really, really bad job. So I'm trying to figure out, it looks like this was, it looks like this was taken off and then someone tried to add it, put it back, and then I don't know what's going on. But if you guys have any suggestions on what I can do to gently remove this, get this off of here so that I can apply some new adhesive and put it back on, then that's what we're looking to do. Or perhaps even, I can go and get like a cleaner, less expensive NES card, take this label off and just do like a label swap with a much cleaner cart and then just put the motherboard in that NES game. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do. Grailbound says he hasn't removed it. I get it, yeah. So there's a couple videos on YouTube on how to do it. I know John Riggs has a video on how to do it, and there's another guy called One Up who has a video showing how to do it. But they both involve like industrial grade like heat guns, which I don't have. The best thing I have is like my lady's hair dryer, and I don't think that's gonna do it. So I think I might have to get a heat gun, which I'd probably need anyway, because now that I'm out here in Southern California, I'm believe that I'm gonna run into a lot of just retro stuff. Like I even more than New York. And personally, I felt like I ran into a lot of things while I was in New York. You guys could go back and watch some of my old videos. You'll know, like, the stuff that I was finding at GameStop sometimes was nuts. So, but you know, a lot of people have told me that California is even better. And so I'm gonna try and see if I can see what's out there. Now, tomorrow, I'm gonna do something or attempt to do something that I've never done before, and that is go to a swap meet, a vintage California West Coast swap meet. I'm gonna attempt to do that tomorrow morning. I've never done a swap meet before. I've never done anything like that out on the West Coast. But you have to get up really early for those so that you can kind of beat the crowds. From what I've seen online, it gets very aggressive in California with these swap meets. I mean, you know, when these vendors get there and they start pulling out like the stuff that they have, people break out into damn near fights. And I'll be honest with you, that's really not something that you see a lot on the East Coast. I'm not gonna say that the East Coast is tougher than the West Coast. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that if you shove the wrong person in New York, bad, really bad things will happen. Whereas, like, and it doesn't even, it's not about being gangster or anything. It's just New Yorkers really just don't tolerate that. Whereas I've seen videos where in other states, someone will get like shoved out the way and, you know, they'll just be like, you know, oh, well, that was rude. And then they walk away. But you know, it's not like that in New York. So I don't know what it's like out here. If I have anyone viewing right now from Southern California, you guys can let me know what the temperature is like out here when it comes to swap meets and stuff. Um, Ruthless K6 says New York is soft. Ruthless, where are you from, bro? I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, you know, you guys let me know what the temperature is like in California if you know how aggressive it gets at the swap meets. Oh, you're from Miami. Oh, okay. So anyway, yeah, I don't know what it's like in California, but yeah, we'll see. You know, tomorrow will be the first swap meet that I go to, and you know, we'll see if we can find anything. I'm really interested right now in rebuilding my Dreamcast and Sega Saturn collection. I've just been picking up NES games because they keep falling in my lap. I just keep running into them. And so, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and pick them up. But shout out to Easy Gamers. Um, yeah, yeah, for sure, Girl Bound. Yeah. You know, shout out to Easy Gamers. He commented on my last video. I gotta go back and respond to his comment. But he said he has a Dreamcast and a couple Game Boy Advance SPs. So I have some games here that I actually don't want to keep. I've got a complete in box copy of Pokemon Coliseum. So I'll see if he wants that. And then I've also got some other like I've got like Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Kart Double Dash. So I have a few like GameCube games. Pretty much I want to get rid of all my GameCube stuff because I don't have a GameCube console and I don't think I want to get back into that right now. I think I'm going to leave the GameCube alone when I rebuild my collection this time. I think this time when I rebuild, I'm going to start with the Sega Genesis, the Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, the Sega Dreamcast, and the NES, the Super Nintendo, and probably the original Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. So those are probably where I'm gonna start. I want to get into the PlayStation 2, but for those of you who collect for PS2, you know the PS2. The PS2 was the Switch before the Switch in the sense that there are so many games you could get for the PlayStation 2 that it becomes a black hole. Thankfully, it's not as bad as the Switch. I think the Switch is the black hole for real. Like if you try to go building a Switch collection right now, when you consider strictly limited, limited run, pixel heart games, super rare games, Nicalis, uh, you know, first press games, M2. There's so many companies that make great games for the Nintendo Switch. On top of just your AAA companies, right, that are producing games, the Switch is a true black hole. So I don't think I'm gonna. I keep every time I say I'm not gonna buy another Switch game, I see a game that's getting ready to be released on the Switch that makes me want to get it. And there's one game coming out that I think I might have to get. Well, there's two games that I should have gotten already, but this one I cannot ignore, and that is that Marvel collection. Have you guys seen that? Where it's like a collection of all the like third gen and fourth gen Marvel games. So it has like Silver Surfer on it, like X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. I don't know if it has War of the Gems on it for the Super Nintendo, but the game that it has that I absolutely need to get is the X-Men arcade game. You guys know the one that I'm talking about. It was a game, it was an X-Men arcade game. It was the big arcade machine that had like six different controllers on it because six people could play at one time. And you could pick like Colossus, Storm, Wolverine, so many different characters. And that game never got a physical release on any home consoles. But I do think that the one version that you could get for it was there was like a one up arcade, and it was one of the games that came along with a one up arcade. Um, yeah, yeah. So yes, Limited Run is gonna be releasing it. Yeah. So I have to get that game. Like that's one Switch game that I gotta bite the bullet on because I don't think outside of the One Up Arcade, I don't think that game has ever been released for home console on any platform. That's been a strictly arcade only game. So because of that, I have to go and get that. Yeah, Girlbound. Yeah, I gotta get that. So that's the one Switch game that I have to get out there and get when it releases. And then there's two games that I should have gotten a long time ago that I still have not gotten, and that's Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I'm so asleep at the wheel on that, so I should have been got that. And Terminator 2D No Fate, I also should have gotten that. So yeah, oh, the Marvel Maximum Collection, yeah, that's what it's called, right? So those are like three Switch games that I need to get. But like I said, I gotta be careful with the Switch because the Switch is one of those consoles that like once you start, you just can't stop. Like it's just there's just too much, and I don't want to have a wall with like a sea of red on it. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to build that type of a collection yet. I feel like sticking with the Sega CD and the Sega Saturn, the Dreamcast, the Genesis, the Super Nintendo is perfect because I know those libraries, and for all of those consoles, there's only like a handful of games that I really need to get for those systems. When it comes to the Saturn, probably the main ones that I'm looking for are Guardian Heroes, Burning Rangers, Batman, the arcade game, Herc's Adventure, In the Hunt, and I think that's it. I think those are the only ones I kind of want to get right away. When it comes to the Sega CD, though, it's a little bit more challenging because for that, I'm looking for Lords of Thunder, Popful Mail, Lords of Thunder, Popful Mail. It would be nice to get the Lunar games back. I don't absolutely need to have those. And of course, I know the Lunar has been released on the Switch and stuff, but if you follow the channel, you know me. There's something super nostalgic about playing Lunar on a Sega CD, on a CRT TV. There's just it's not the same as the Switch. And I always equate it to listening to an MP3 versus listening to a record on a record player. The texture is different. And so that would be the only reason why I would get that. Have you pre-ordered New Castlevania Belmont's Curse? I didn't even know that that was out. What's on that? What's on that? Is that like a new collection or? No, I haven't even heard of that one yet. I'll have to go look that up when I'm done with this live, because that's one that I'm definitely willing to look into. Um, but yeah, the only other game, what did I say? So I said I still have to get Android Assault, Bari Arm, Terminator. Uh, the one game that I never had in my old collection, but I want to get now is, and you guys are gonna laugh when I tell you this, but KO Flying Squadron, that was like on my wish list forever. I came really close to picking up a copy of Hagane last weekend. Came real close to it, but I just didn't do it. Oh, it's a Metroidvania like with Souls-like mechanics. Cool. I will have to look into that one. But but yeah, and then for the Dreamcast, I've already started the Dreamcast collection. Um, so the first game that I picked up was a copy of Mars Matrix. What's blowing me away is how prices for some games have really gone up. I honestly didn't think that they would go up. I did not think that retro game prices would continue to go up this far removed from the pandemic. Like, I really didn't think so. Like, I was looking at a copy of Breath of Fire 3 for the PlayStation 1, and that game's gone up. I'm seeing it at like 70, $80. And I remember when I got Breath of Fire, and this is only a few years ago, when I got Breath of Fire 3, it was only like $40. So like it's like doubled. Um Same thing with Breath of Fire 4. Like Breath of Fire 4 looked like it was starting to go down, but now it's back up to like 125, like 130, 150. So like some of these retro games are going up in price and I'm blown away. And then there are just some games that you just cannot find at all anymore. Like Lords of Thunder for the Sega CD. I can't find it. I can't even eBay it. I can't. There's some games that you can't even find on eBay. And right now, I think on eBay, there's only like three copies of Lords of Thunder, and they're all quote unquote brand new copies, and they're not new. We all know they're not new. They're all cracked and stuff, but they want like $1,000 for them. I'm like, that's crazy. I think there's one copy for like 400, but it's like tore up. And I don't want that. The person I think wants like 400 or 500 for it. I'm not doing that. So you have some games that you just can't even get on eBay anymore, which is why I picked up that copy of Silent Bomber for the PlayStation 1, because even with Silent Bomber, it's getting harder and harder to find complete in box original copies of Silent Bomber. So when I saw that, I knew I had to get it. I paid market price for it. It was 220, but I don't see any other copies out there at that price that are complete in box. They're all like really expensive. Um, I was gonna go and get a copy of Art Type Delta for the PlayStation 1, but I saw that they're releasing R Type Delta on the Switch. I don't know if you guys um you've only seen Silent Bomber once. Yeah, like it's one of those games you just don't see. Like I don't see it. Um yeah, but I was gonna get a copy of R Type Delta, and you guys have probably seen this, but they're releasing R Type Delta on the Switch. I think it's already been released, or I'm not sure if it's already been released overseas. I think there's already a European version of it. But yeah, R Type Delta is being released on the Switch as well. And R Type Delta is one of my favorite versions of R Type. There's something very like it's got that early 2000s like um, punk, like the music on it reminds me of The Matrix in R Type Delta, especially that first level. But yeah, they're putting that on the Switch too. And when it comes to those PlayStation 1 shoot 'em ups that get these ports to the Switch, like like when they did the Thunder Force series with like not Thunder Force, sorry, when they did the Ray Crisis series, they don't have the same feel to me. And I remember because I remembered like actually playing Ray Storm on my Switch and then turning right around in the same breath and then putting it on and playing it on the PlayStation, and it just has a different feel. So, and I think a lot of people think that like collectors make that up when we say like a port doesn't have the same feel. But there's a dude and on I can't remember his YouTube channel right now, but he plays Super Metroid. He's like a Super Metroid fanatic. He speed runs the game like once a week, right? And even he, I can't remember this guy's name, but even he said that Metroid is the one game that he can't emulate because he's not as good at the game playing the emulated version as he is playing the original. It has to do with the input lag, and input lag is a real thing. And I think it impacts you, and I really realized that when I was playing Lightning Force, because I remember I had the Sega Genesis Mini 2, and I was trying to play Lightning Force, and I just kept getting blown out the sky, and I was like, what the hell? I do not suck that bad at this game. And sure enough, the live stream is still up somewhere in my archives. If you go back and watch my live streams from when I used to live stream shoot 'em ups, I remember putting on Lightning Force and making it all the way to the last level, and I think I lost ultimately, but um, I got through it. Grubon says, I saw you pick up Snow Brothers for the NES. Limited Run will be releasing Snow Bros collection on the Switch and PlayStation 5. See, that's what I'm saying, Grailbound. No game is safe, bro. No game is safe. Like I'm negotiating with someone right now because they have a copy of Gargoyle's Quest 2. Jesse, what's going on? I'm negotiating with someone right now because they have a copy of Gargoyle's Quest 2 for the NES. And they only want 130 for it, and the label is like super clean. But then you just start to think like, man, but honestly, for some games, I don't care if they get a re-release. For honestly, for all the games that I like and the games that I want to collect, I really don't care if they're re-released. Like Snow Brothers, I got it because it literally fell in my lap. Like I went to GameStop the same day. So I guess like there was a guy, and I guess he found like a whole box of games. Matter of fact, hang on, guys. Hang on one second. Okay. Okay. So first of all, this is the copy of Mars Matrix that I just got because this is like really, it was tough to find. But Mars Matrix aside, so there was a guy who went to the GameStop near me, and I guess dude must have like ran into a closet stacked with like NES games. And dude just, he didn't know what they were worth at all. And he just dumped them off at a GameStop. And I'll tell you where the GameStop is. It's a GameStop in Southern California. It's in Moreno Valley. And I was literally walking out of Chick-fil-A, and I was like, oh shoot, there's a GameStop. I wonder what they have in there. And the dude opened the drawer, and this is what they had in there. Kickmaster on the NES, Gun Knack, and here go all the GameStop labels for all you guys who say that I didn't get these from GameStop. Kickmaster, Gun Knack, Bomberman 2, Jackie Chan's Kung Fu action, DuckTales 2. They had Snow Brothers, Ninja Gaiden 3, Terra Cresta, Bucky O'Hare, G.I. Joe Atlantis Factor. They had Mega Man 5. This is like the one cheap game that they had that I picked up. Trojan for Capcom. I thought this was a pretty cool looking game. This was a very interesting one that I had never seen before, so I got it. Silkworm. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this one, but this is actually a pretty interesting. It's like a shoot 'em up. You could play as either a helicopter or a tank. Pretty interesting. But Silkworm. This one is, I always get the first name right, but this is Akrista's Ring. This is also kind of like a a rare one. So this was one that I grabbed as well. And then these two are just two that I picked up like in separate deals. These were not GameStop pickups. I picked these up because I had these in my original NES collection. This was one that I picked up um, at the same time that I picked up. Um, I picked this up the same time I picked up a complete like it was a brand new NES top loader. So that was the same day that I got this. And then in the city that I'm at, there's like, or the city that I'm close by rather, there's a retro game store that has just like a bunch of retro games in there. And I walked in one day and I just randomly asked the guy, I was like, "Do you guys have a copy of Vice Project Doom?" And I knew he wouldn't really know what that game was because not a lot of people know about Vice Project Doom. Like, this is such an underrated NES game. This game is so underrated. Like, I don't know, like, this is an underrated game. Like, in my opinion, when I look at games on the NES that are really expensive, I don't get how this game still goes for like 70 to 80 bucks. Like, in my opinion, this is like a $200 game because it plays like it. Like, it's really cool. The game starts off with a lot of action. You're like in this high-speed chase. It's like a top-down high-speed chase. It's really cool. A lot of people sleep on it. Wild Straight NES bangers. Yeah, man, like for real. And not for nothing, they were all like a lot of not all of them, but a lot of them are in really good shape. Like Bucky O'Hare was in really good shape. Like the one of the cleanest labels I've ever gotten from a GameStop. Super clean. Bucky O'Hare was clean. Terra Cresta was clean. This Ninja Gaiden, super clean. Like they were all really clean. Snow Brothers was really clean, minus like that dent, had like a little dent right there. But a lot of these were really clean, man. The best ones to me, like gameplay wise, like playing after having played them all, Gunnack is so to me, Gunnack is if you've ever played if you've ever played what's that really expensive Super Nintendo shoot 'em up game? Um what's it called again? It's kind of like a part of the LSD series. Somebody help me. Oh man, I can't think of the name right now. There's a game on the Super Nintendo. Space Mega Force. That's what it's called. Gunnak plays a lot like Space Mega Force. So it's like the Space Mega Force before Space Mega Force. So if you've ever played Space Mega Force, when you play this, you'll be like, wow, this feels like Space Mega Force. But for an NES shoot 'em up, Gunnak is stellar. The most intricate and complex game out of these games, though, is definitely Kickmaster. I saw someone describe this game as a blend between like Castlevania 3, like Belmont's Curse, and like they said it was a cross between two games. It was Castlevania and another game. And it kind of plays a lot like it. The colors in this game are great, but there's just so many elements, and you get magic weapons that you can use, and there's like like multiple variations of kicks that you can do in this game, and you can level up. Kickmaster is a sleeper, bro. It's a sleeper. But yeah, no, these were all GameStop. So I just got lucky. I got lucky that day. I actually also had a copy of Chippendale's Rescue Rangers too, but that one didn't work, unfortunately. So I had to return that because it wasn't even repairable, or maybe it was, and I just didn't bring it to a good enough repair person. But now Batman Return of the Joker is in this bunch. So I've just had a lot of luck so far here, right out the gate, because this whole lot was easily 15 to $1,800 worth of games, and I got it for less than half that. I got it probably for like 700, 750. So, because even with this copy of Return of the Joker, like I said in my video earlier today, this was a $17 pickup. So, but these two, I paid market price for these. Like, hands, like easily paid market price for these. But these were, GameStop finds. And then of course, this copy of Mars Matrix I actually got from a Paymore. So I'm slowly rebuilding the collection. I'm slowly putting it back together. I'm slowly finding stuff. I'm not going out of my way to like just buy random stuff, but if it's a good deal, I'm gonna find it. So tomorrow is going to be all about going to the swap meet. Who knows? I might run into Pixel Game Squad while I'm there. Thankfully, they won't know who I am. I'll just look like some random black guy game hunting in their turf. But I'll make sure to stay silent because what I've noticed is that whenever I go somewhere like game hunting and I start to talk, people recognize me. They're like, wait, I know that voice. Are you the Y2K collector? That's happened to me before on the East Coast. So, but we'll see what happens. I'll try to get some footage for you guys. Let you know if I find anything. And yeah, just gonna try to get back in the flow of dropping videos. I was gone for a couple months just with the move and the transition. We're still transitioning. My family's still transitioning. We're still trying to get used to being in Southern California. There's a lot more for us to do, but I definitely wanted to connect with the Y2K crew. So hopefully you guys have a great weekend. I will catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.